I am thrilled to finally be talking to you. It's been ages since we last recorded a proper Final Fantasy Tactics episode.
I suppose.
Yeah, now I'm actually
But we've
pulling
been,
up.
re-
I'm
but
pulling up
we're,
the
we've been,
website
re-
really quick. The last episode came out was the end of December, and it was our year-end celebration. And
right.
then before that, on December 6th, we did the 10-year anniversary special.
Yep.
And then, so the last Final Fantasy Tactics episode was December 1st. It's been a month and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, the December was a motherfucker for Tactics.
December is a motherfucker just in general because of the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just throwing that one out there to you.
That's true. Jake has a lot of going on. And
Yep.
I do too.
So does Rich.
But I do.
Yes.
And we make it. We're back though. We're getting shit going. And in typical me fashion, as though I'm not busy enough,
He likes to fuck himself in the ass periodically.
Oh my god, it's a great time. If you haven't, you really should try it out. You'll learn things about yourself you didn't know before. But besides that, also I decided, much like I suggested I would earlier in the year, that at the beginning of 2022. I was going to take advantage of the fact that there's no way I was going to have a PlayStation 5 and be able to play the new PlayStation 5 games, and instead just play Final Fantasy 14.
Yay.
And I'm doing just that. I'm like 2 weeks into it. I started shortly after the beginning of the year. I'm just kind of fucking around a little bit at night before I go to bed, but I'm about kind of in a similar place to when we stopped recording, or stopped for the years ago when we did a little bit of coverage of it.
Oh, yeah?
So it's been an interesting experience going back. I actually re-listened to that episode, and there's a lot that still remains the same from that episode, but I feel like there's a handful of key differences. And since that episode came out, like the cachet, if you will, of Final Fantasy XIV has skyrocketed. We did that episode around the time that Heavensward, the first expansion, came out.
Right.
And that expansion was incredibly well received and single-handedly made 14 go from a decent MMO to considered one of the best MMOs of all time. And it's just consistently blown up since then, to the point where now, because I guess they really doubled down on plot and story, it's considered to many one of the best Final Fantasy stories of all time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Pretty intense.
It is. And it just, the trick is you have to get through A Realm Reborn content. So once you get through that, then you get to the expansions, and then you start getting into the good shit. They just released the I guess what is considered the end of the current MMO story, although the MMO is not ending. I think they're going to continue doing more for it, but it's called, I think, like Endwalker or something like that.
Okay.
So I guess they had to shut down like new people joining for a while. Thankfully, we had existing accounts. So, because if you were just trying to get a new, you couldn't, because they didn't have, like, the buying the game didn't exist anymore. Like, you couldn't. They took down all the like join Final Fantasy 15 or 14 links and everything and downloads, because like we can't. The servers are too full. We can't have new players. Which is
crazy,
nuts. Can you imagine that? That's insane. That's how popular this game got. That they're like, literally no one else can join. We're done. We're full. No more.
I can't imagine what that would be like. That'd be like saying that you don't want money.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't. They couldn't take it because people couldn't play. The wait times to get in were getting so long on some of the servers that they couldn't. So they had to, like, all right, we need to make some server adjustments. We need to get more servers. We need to encourage people to move to the less populated servers, and they're just opening it up again to new players like next week. But I had an existing account, so I just had to re-up my account. So it wasn't a big deal. I'm absolutely buying the expansion. You know, the best thing about us missing out on all the expansions is Endwalker includes all of the expansions except for Heavensward. Just built into it. So you just buy that one and you get all the expansion. And Heavensward, the oldest expansion, is free. Like, it's built into the base game now. So I literally just got to buy one expansion and I'm good.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I'm like halfway. I'm like not even like half. I'm level like 25, but I'm only up into the like 16 or 17 like story quest wise, because they've boosted XP so goddamn much. You don't have to do any side quest shit at all. Like you just do story quests and job quests. Early on, I was doing side quests because I was like, well, I need to get XP. I don't want to get left behind. You know, I don't want to be behind the curve. And and those you can do those to get more gear. You know.
Sure.
But it hit to the point where I was so far ahead, like I'm so far ahead of my quest that I'm actually doing. It's like very funny.
Oh, they just kind of lay down for you at this point.
I mean, they'll still cap you. They like do a thing where if you're too high level, they lower your level so you're not too high.
Right. But I'm saying like your fights are pretty. They just lay down.
Oh yeah, everything. I stormed through everything without issue.
Yeah.
The only downside is I'm doing early content, so there's a teeny bit of wait to get teams to get people when you're waiting for the team dungeon things that are story based. But I haven't. Last night I had one that had it said I had to wait 10 minutes, but it was less than that before I was getting a party, and I'm a tank again. Specifically, much like when we were playing together and we were doing everybody needs a tank and a healer. They're the least populated classes in the game, so if you play as that, you can get teamed up pretty easy. So,
gotcha.
It's entirely and I to be quite honest, I enjoy the gameplay of a tank. So it feels kind of badass. So, yeah, I will probably be doing an episode somehow, some way on my playthrough of this again, whether Jake's involved or not. We don't know yet. It's mostly a time issue. Jake's really busy, and I'm really busy, and syncing up is hard. So.
No, we haven't even gotten I think we barely got like a fifth or maybe 2/5 through the way of Diablo.
Yeah,
I don't know if 5 chapters or if it's more than that.
Yeah, I think we got we're in like chapter 2 or act 2 or something of that. So we need to find time to sync up on that too. It's just we're so fucking life's hard now when you're an adult.
Yes. Whole adulting thing, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, it's bullshit. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Either way, Final Fantasy 15 or 14 content coming your way one way or another. And who knows how quickly, how often, but I'll pepper it in. But that's all I had, You're probably people are probably wanting us to get to the fucking tactic stuff because it's been so long. Do you have anything you want to tag on here at the beginning before we get down to business?
Well, not really. I mean, it's been kind of boring, but we've had a few things that come up, but nothing serious.
We are getting down. Jake, have you seen Book of Boba Fett?
I have not. I actually canceled my Disney Plus subscription.
Okay, I can send you my stuff so you can check it out.
I didn't see a need.
That's fine. I don't know. It's okay. I like it because I'm a big Boba Fett fan, but I know a lot of people are like, Boba Fett is so... Why do they have to turn every character into a fucking actually is a moral good guy? And I'm like, well, I understand where you're coming from.
I just don't have an attachment to that character.
A lot of people,
and I never really had an attachment to the Mandalorian.
So yeah.
And in fact, I would even argue, I did try to watch it, and I had to break away until both you and little brother said, hey, watch this shit, and then I went back to it again. So
Book of Boba Fett's kind of more the same. It's just, slightly different. I'm enjoying it, but Boba Fett acts kind of a lot like he did in the expanded universe stuff before it got rebooted, where he, badass mercenary, bounty hunter, but with a code of honor sort of thing.
This is the way, Rich.
Yeah, this is the way. He doesn't follow that shit.
Oh, he doesn't?
No,
okay.
He's not a part of the Mandalorian culture.
Oh, he just wears the fucking armor then, huh?
I mean, he's Mandalorian in the sense that his dad was, but he hasn't been a part of the culture.
Gotcha.
I can get into the expanded universe before it was deleted about how he becomes Mandalore eventually, but that's another story entirely.
Yeah, a little bit.
Suffice to say, if you enjoyed the Mandalorian show, then Book of Boba Fett's fine. If you didn't enjoy it, then don't watch it, because it's more the same, just without Baby Yoda and those characters. So, Rich from the future jumping in to say, you can tell this was recorded a while ago because that previous statement no longer true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I'm enjoying it. I'm a Boba Fett sucker. So
anyway, yes, you are.
You know what it's time for?
Damn Chocobo.
Damn Chocobo, motherfucker. Jake,
Rich.
what have we playing and where are we?
We're playing Final Fantasy Tactics, and we are just after Bethla Garrison Sluice, and acquired Cid, the game changer.
Yeah, this is probably an opportunity to talk about how Cid really kind of almost breaks this game.
I wouldn't say almost, Rich.
Yeah, he is. You know, there's a lot of Final Fantasy games where you get a character who's really powerful, or you get a spell that just fucking completely changes a game. I would put Cid is kind of on the level or slightly under, like, the level how... Yeah, I would say slightly under the level of Knights of the Round.
Yes.
Because you still have to... He doesn't just instantly win as soon as you use him. You still have to put forth effort. But he is overwhelmingly powerful to the point that nothing stands in his way.
Yep. And I will argue that, weirdly enough, towards the end of this playthrough, I actually had to not use him.
He has
and we'll get into the specifics of why later, but I actually had to not use him.
He is there are reasons to not use him at points, but he is
oh, absolutely. He is the big dick swinger in this game.
Yeah.
So
yep.
He lays it down and says, "Listen here, this is how it's going to be."
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the acquisition of Cid is a huge one. And yeah, I mean, you could argue that if you didn't want to break the game, you wouldn't want him in your party, because he will break the game. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah. He's important for story reasons, regardless. What makes Cid so overwhelmingly ass kickery is kind of it's like a two-part thing, right? And one, the obvious one I'll point out is he comes with the Excalibur. Like, sword is one of the strongest weapons in the entire fucking game. It is not only statistically strong, it also gives auto haste to the user. So it kind of negates his otherwise slow speed. And the other thing is, Jake,
that his spells,
sword skills.
His sword skills are just, they're basically Agrias on crack for the most part, in my opinion.
Oh wow, my daughter just came in and handed me a little, like, drawing of a person sort of thing she folded up. It's very cute.
Yay!
It's very, very cute. Anyway, yes, Cid is hardcore.
Yep. He's got Holy Explosion, Lightning, whatever it's called,
he has
Lightning Stab and Crush Punch and all this other
just
shit.
all these things. I think his it's like he has one that does a single target damage that breaks armor. He has a single target damage that does a ton of damage and breaks a weapon. He has a group target thing that just hits a whole bunch of motherfuckers. Like, he has a lot of skills, and they're all devastating. They hit huge numbers.
I mean, from what I understand, he's like a combination of Agrias. There's another character. He was your favorite guy. He earlier in the game that gets killed. I think it starts with a G.
Oh, Gafgarian.
Gafgarian. He's got his abilities.
He doesn't have Gafgarian's abilities. That's Dark Knight abilities that you can get as one of your characters in the War of the Lions version of the game.
Gotcha.
He's kind of his own beat. He's like Amelia Duel has, like, weaker versions of his stuff, basically. Yeah.
Right.
He's kind of his own beast, but he's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's a game breaker.
He is. After you get him, there's more side quest stuff you can do to kind of, like, continue that side quest plot, which is really... I think the side quest in this game is really kind of a two-part thing, where it's like the story of Beowulf and Reis with the story of, like, your how do I want to put it, Mustadio and his dad, like, tinkering with technology.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's kind of like this two-part thing that goes on. And so you constantly, like we've already talked about in the past, you're constantly going back and visiting them in the Gog Machine City or something.
It's so painful all the way.
It's so far away.
Yeah, it's on the opposite end of the fucking map every damn time.
At this point in the game, there is a place that if you walk past, I think it's the Salgidos. When you walk through Salgidos at some point, you're gonna cut into a cinematic where you walk past a very familiar looking girl who tries to sell you a flower.
Okay.
And Ramza, being the champ that he is, has the option of buying a flower, which you should do. Even if you don't plan on getting Cloud, buy the fucking flower. Because it's an important step in getting Cloud.
And I did buy the flower. I'm pretty sure I did.
I hope. That'd be a bummer if you didn't.
Yeah, because I don't quite understand, but whatever.
Yeah, you get down to the trade city, and you use the most recent stone that you got, and he has this weird machine that is like a platform with a spinny... It looks like a key and some planets spinning on it.
Yep.
And it shows a symbol. It kind of looks like a 69 symbol. So it's like, all right, we need a different stone.
Right.
And it's Cancer. Cancer. My
Bitch
daughter
has cancer.
just handed me another tube person. Thank you very much, Darcy. It's what? Oh, you need to write now? Okay, you go do that and hand it back. It's already made? Okay. Oh, there's a tiny little face on this one too. I love it. It's beautiful, everybody. At this point, you can return to Zeltania Castle. And if you, in Zeltania Castle, at the bar, you can read I think it's Zeltania Castle? Somewhere you can read a note. It's a story.
Read a note.
Read
the story.
Yes, Zeltania Castle. You can go to the bar there and read the Cursed Isle of Nelvaska rumor, if you have not already done so, which you can do earlier, and it opens up another location, the Nelvaska Temple battle area. And Jake, tell me about this battle.
This battle is against Worker 7, I think it is.
8.
8. It is 8. Okay.
Yeah, 8.
No, it's Worker 7.
Okay.
Finally have
Worker
7,
8?
Steel Giant. Yeah, you have Worker 8. Okay. And yep. So, and you just basically gotta come in here, roll him with your big dick like Cid, and just throw down. And it's an interesting fight because it's actually kind of a two-parter a little bit, because you take him down and then he re-equips himself, so to speak, or doubles down on the fight. So, and there's also a couple of dragons to take away to go after, and
some irritating birds.
Yeah, it's quite the big fiasco a little bit.
Worker whatever can throw down. And honestly, I found that the birds did a lot more damage than I expected them to.
Right.
Like, and it could have just been a critical hit. Honestly, I could have just been. But I did not give them another opportunity to do so.
The Coctorus.
Yeah. And Worker 8, Worker 8 can hit like well over 200.
You mean Worker 7?
Yeah, Worker dude. Like
dude.
All these things can lay down if need be.
Yeah. So you definitely want to come in equipped, but I mean, Sid's going to be your big guy. He's going to, it's going to handle things a little bit for you. The dragons or the Hydra will be a couple. I took them out rather easily.
Oh, I was able to take everything down relatively easily, although Worker 8's got a lot of HP, so it can take a little bit.
That's the big thing.
I think the thing is here, you're going to come in here more than likely loaded for bear with some tough dudes by this point. So, you should be ready to kind of
let them know how it's going to be.
Yeah, so. At this point in the game, everything you're running into is capable of putting up a fight if you let them. So,
right.
Yeah. So afterwards, this is kind of notable to the Reis and Beowulf story, because Dragon Reis shows up and goes into the temple.
Yep. And I think you get another stone, don't you?
Yeah. Dragon Reis goes in and then comes out as a
human.
Yeah. And you get a stone from the blown up dude.
Yep, the Worker 7.
Yeah. So that's pretty sweet.
Yep. Pretty badass.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else that happened. Yeah. That she goes in there. It's like the battle ends, you get the stone, and then you try to leave the place. And she comes out. And human Reis is pretty awesome because she has like all the same dragon breath stuff, but she can
the abilities.
Yeah, but she can equip more like female items and stuff like that.
And once you get her past your main functions with the dragon abilities, you can equip her and whatnot too. So
yeah.
And that's where it gets. I think that's where she really kind of opens up, because you could have a lot of fun stuff with that process.
Yeah, I think I heard she has like innate dual wield or something like that.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to that one yet, so I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
It's possible. I didn't explore the other abilities that much, so I'll have to check that out and see if
I know.
If it's
I heard she makes a badass monk. So, but I think everybody apparently makes a badass monk.
So, yeah. So it's kind of like.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I heard she's a really good character if you put the time into using her. So. Do so.
Which I'm trying to do. So.
Yeah. I know. For me at this point, I was able to go back with the stone and continue the Cloud quest, but for whatever reason, Jake kind of wasn't able to.
Yeah, I went back there and I saw him. He came into the world and everything, but I don't know where the fuck he went after that. So, not sure what the heck's going on there. So I've been through the Zargitas Trade City a couple of times now, and nothing has been triggered. So we shall see.
I know. But the next step is you take that stone back to the Trade City, and they use it on the machine. It turns into be a portal machine, and it portals in our hero Cloud, aka the main character, to Rich. Because Rich is an idiot.
He's not the main character, Rich.
He is in Rich's world, because Rich is.
Yeah, this is not about Cloud. He comes in chapter 4, Rich. At the end of the game. How can he be the main character?
I think a lot of this really kind of Cloud situation tells you exactly what the developers felt about Cloud being in this game, as we'll see too shortly. Cloud shows up, he's completely clueless and just fucking runs off.
And he's nerfed to all hell when you acquire him.
When you get at this point, you can go to the Salgidos and there just happens to be a battle there where Cloud is. My daughter just gave me another paper person because she's feeling so giving.
Lovely.
Cloud runs into this world's version of Aerith, the flower girl, and she is being threatened by a bunch of brigands and ruffians and douchebags, if you will.
Much like the second encounter in Midgar, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. So Cloud rolls by and he's like, "Oh, I don't fucking think so."
And then he gets his dick kicked in.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's about to get his dick kicked in, but you show up to save him because, as you'll find after you win this relatively easy battle, motherfucker is equipped with nothing, is level 1, ain't got shit. Like, he got some okay gear on. Like, he has a hat, he's got like a thief's cap, a black garb, and a feather-weaved cloak, but he's got like no abilities really. He's got no weapon. Again, level 1. So, yeah, he's going to get his shit kicked in hard unless you show up to save him.
Wouldn't be the first time we saved Cloud.
Oh, it wouldn't be, unfortunately. These guys have little to offer you in terms of resistance, and they proceed to get wrecked.
Right.
And
you just blow through them like a snowplow.
Exactly. Then Ramza basically talked Cloud into being like, "You should come with us because you're clearly, you don't like Cloud. He doesn't know any. His brain is all jumbled up. He doesn't remember anything.
Kind of like the third disc of Final Fantasy VII.
Kinda like if you wanted to tie this into Final Fantasy VII lore, you could say while he's in the live stream, he gets teleported here. If you wanted to somehow make it canon. I'm just offering that as a way if you want to be a complete dork like me. He is honestly a not good character at first.
Really? Is that a surprise?
If you want him to be effective in any way, shape, or form, first you also need to go to, there is a mountain that is a new battle location in this world, where, let me see what it is. You need to go to the Bervenia volcano. It's just you have to get into a random battle on that location. It's a new location that has only appeared during this chapter. And the highest peak of this area with the move find or treasure hunter ability will pick up the materia blade. That's what allows him to use the limit abilities of his, which is fucked up. He has his main abilities you can't use without finding this hidden weapon.
Which is horse shit.
It's ridiculous. It's like that plus the fact that you get him at level 1 this late in the game, which they never do with anybody else. Plus the fact that his stats aren't super good, and the stats of this sword suck ass. It's like a 10 attack, but like the good swords are like you can buy a 14 attack sword at this point, and like a 13 or 14. I think 13 because it's like the rune blade. And then like other good swords are like 14, 15. Like the Excalibur's 15. I think the Defender or the Save the Queen is 14. I think the strongest sword in the game is 16 or something like that. So it's kind of a shitty sword. And he's kind of slow. And his abilities take forever to use. Like they have like a huge charge time.
But Rich has to use him.
I have to. He sucks. You have to put work in to make him not good. And that tells me all that work and how he's like, it's like the developer went out of their way to encourage the user to not use him. And how all of his limits look nothing like they do in Final Fantasy VII. Like they don't look anything like him. So it's like, and even Cloud himself, his design is different. Like he's got like red on him in weird places, and like I like the sprite, but it doesn't really look all that much like Cloud outside of the hair. It's almost like they were like making this game, and then Final Fantasy VII sold a shit ton, and then so like the company came down, like the fucking director of the company was like, hey, this game you're making, we're gonna put a little more marketing, but like Final Fantasy is selling huge because of 7. They're like, fuck yeah. I'm like, so we're gonna put more marketing behind your game. Fuck yeah. But you got to put in the main character from 7. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, he's got to be in the game. It's like, but we don't want him. We don't want, that's not what we're doing in this game. They're like, yeah, but you are now. Like, motherfucker.
Fine, we're cutting his nuts off then.
Yes, exactly. And I think it was like, it feels like it was out of spite. They were like, you are all right. We're going to make him weak. We're going to make him level 1. We're going to make his abilities tied to a weapon that is hidden, that sucks. Like, and but you can make Cloud, you can make him useful, and his abilities can be useful if situationally done. So first of all, you got to power level his ass.
Yep.
Because he's just, your characters are going to be up in like 40s or 50s by this point.
Yep.
He's
at like 1.
You gotta train his ass up to get good abilities, and
you gotta be whipping that ass in the gym there.
Yes, you need to work hard. Okay, Darcy, what do you need? Sorry, my kid is here again.
See?
Wow, there's all these stickers. I love them. She just put a whole bunch of stickers on the back of the inside of a notebook, and it's unicorns and bunnies with wings and unicorn horns and hearts and flying stars and a butterfly and seashells.
I love you.
I love it. It's amazing, baby girl. Thank you. I'll talk to you in a little bit, okay? Aw, you're so sweet. Don't forget to close your door on the way out. So back to Cloud. To make Cloud good, you need to get him the basic stuff that you get everyone else. You need to get him more movement. So Thief, move 2. You're going to need to get the swiftness ability from the mage, from the time mage, because that cuts in half the charge time of his limits.
Gotcha.
Without that, his limits are useless. It's kind of like there's kind of two. Do you want to, if you wanted to build up Cloud, there's kind of two directions. You either build him up to make his limits useful, and in that you need to have swiftness equipped as your like action ability or something like that. I don't remember what it is, but it's like the there. Or you build him up like a generic, and you make him a ninja. You get him dual wield, ignore limits, entirely. Like that's kind of your other option. And at that point, you're just using him for the sprite, right?
Yeah.
So there's no point.
Well, isn't that what you're doing anyways?
Kinda. You can also, I find the limits useful. If you're gonna use the limits, like half of them aren't useful, but the ones that are useful are there's like some like Meteor Rain are powerful, and with swiftness it cuts down the charge just enough to where they're occasionally useful. Some of the lower end ones are so weak that it's like you might as well just hit them with your sword. Even your dinky ass fucking Materia Blade will hurt them enough. And you could use dual wield, but then you can't. That takes the same spot as swiftness.
Okay.
So then your limits are going to take forever. So it's like, but dual wield, you'll be able to equip a good sword with the Materia Blade. So it's kind of a trade off there. The two that make the most sense for him is. It's like finishing touch. Basically, one of them has the ability. I think it's finishing touch. Has the ability to cast one random effect on the opponent that you're attacking, and it's usually either stop, stone, or death.
Oh, okay.
And unless they are immune to it, it has a 100% chance of hitting.
Wow.
As long as they don't move, because none of his things they only target a square on the map. They don't target characters. So if they move outside the range, it misses. And that's why the swiftness is important, because if the charge times for everything take so long, the enemy is going to have enough time to move out of the way. So like the only way you'd hit anybody is if you cast stop on them or slow, or you have somebody with a gun hit them so they can't move. And at that point, like, you're taking multiple turns to hurt one dude, so like swiftness is necessary. The other important, like, so you use finishing touch on regular enemies. When you're facing a boss, there's an ability that does damage equivalent to the damage the enemy has already suffered.
Okay.
So if you already hit the boss for 500 damage, because they have a ton of HP, that ability hits for 500 damage. If you've already hit that boss for 999 damage, that ability hits for 999 damage.
Wow.
So he basically he can instant kill enemies or stop them, because stone is an instant kill, and death is an instant kill or stop. Right. So you basically have like a 2 1/3 chance of an instant kill on a regular enemy, or and this ability that fucking wrecks bosses. The only difference is you have to actually, because it's the more damage you do to the boss, the more damage he is capable of doing.
Gotcha.
So if Cid walks up and whacks it like a motherfucker, Cloud is able to do as much damage, if not more, if somebody else has already hit it. So you will annihilate the tough enemies. So that's how you focus on those two abilities, get swiftness on him, get his stuff up there, get him some decent gear and stuff, and he's fine. He already has time, like when you're getting to Time Mage, I learned haste and stop and slow. So those, like at the beginning of every single battle with Cloud, because I always use him because I'm a fucking idiot, cast haste on him. He hastes himself, so he's not slow. Because he needs that to keep up with everyone else, because everyone else is too fast. Otherwise, he'll be the last person to move.
Damn.
And he will be the last person to move for the first turn until he's hasted. And then I also put speed shoes on him to give him one extra stat in speed. I think they're called speed, or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name myself.
Just to give him a little bit more like edge, and because he's so slow.
He dead set on using that. He said, Cloud, you gotta use him, huh?
I have to.
Never mind that there might be better characters.
No, everyone's better. The only characters worse than Cloud are Rafa and the two sisters. Oh, Darcy, I'm talking, baby girl.
Rafa and Malak. Right.
Darcy's talking to me and she won't stop. What, Darcy?
Come right back up when I give her the...
No, stay here. Don't go downstairs. You'll wake up Asher.
This is Mommy's.
Okay, but wait till Asher wakes up. This is gonna be a nightmare to edit this stuff out.
Yes, it is.
So if anybody's hearing this, I missed it. Darcy, go to your room, kiddo. Yeah, I know, that's a sad lip. That's a sad lip. Mommy and Asher are about to wake up very soon. So just wait there, okay? Okay? Close the door. Thank you. I'm hoping that gap isn't in no sound is enough to make me find this when editing.
Just have to write that time down.
That's why when I'm scanning, I'm going to see that time there where there's no sound and be like, that's where it is. So I did that intentionally. So yeah, a lot of work to make Cloud useful. I recommend not doing it. He's literally only better. Like, you know what?
You're still advocating for me to get him.
Just because I think the story sequence is worth seeing. But if it doesn't load up, then don't do it. You know, if it doesn't, like, don't worry about it. You're not missing out on a fucking anything huge. But I think it's just, get everyone you can. Yeah, there's Luso from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2. He might be better than him, but I've never used that guy, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
And like once you level him up, he's okay. It's just, here we fucking go again.
I heard some...
Darcy, were you crying in your room?
No, I was just...
Fine, go check. But don't talk until you see them. Close the door. Motherfucker. God damn it. This kid. Yeah, I think I would say Mustadio is better because of range and because of the shoot arm and shoot leg.
Right.
Like, that's always useful. You get him a good gun, he's still useful.
Yep. I'm in a complete agreement there.
Yeah, I can't think of another. I mean, Worker 8 I don't use, but he's pretty powerful. So maybe they're on the same level. Yeah. But Worker 8 you don't have to put the same level of work into.
Nope.
So Reis is powerful, has good skills. Beowulf is one of the best characters in the game. Cid's is the best character in the game.
Right.
Melia Duel is badass. Balthier is the second best character in the game.
I'll argue that Agrias is pretty damn good at this point too.
Agrias is top tier. She's up there with the best, especially when you get her the Tainar Rouge. So he's definitely like, you got to be a fanboy to go through the work to Cloud. But I did. And a secondary benefit, because I spent so much time power leveling this guy up, I also leveled up, like, I've been getting Ramza through, like, spending more time getting Ramza on the path to Dark Knight, and leveled up the other characters to get them statistically where I want them. Like, as far as, like, everyone has the abilities I want them to have. Everyone's built exactly the way I want them at this point, It's just... That time has worked to my benefit at this point, because I am fucking like a fucking storm of destruction at this game now. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Storm of destruction.
Storm of destruction. Jake.
Rich.
Storyline wise, after if you choose to do that shit, or you want to continue on with actual plot.
Right.
And story required missions, there is a little orange dot on Mount Germanus.
Yep, Germanus Peak.
Yeah, that. And there we have a group of dipshits who want to try to fucking charge you a toll until they recognize that there's a price on your head.
And if you have Orlando in the party, this fight is nothing.
Yeah, it ends badly for them. This is one of those situations that I found that because there's a ninja here, and if you don't take him down, he can, like all ninjas, he could be a threat.
Yes.
However, my ninja versus ninja fight ended very funny because I went after him and I whiffed 2 sword attacks. with my ninja, and then he attacked me, and I have the blade grasp, Shiradori, whatever the fuck they call it, because it's like it's different names of mine, and my bravery is so high, and it's dependent on like. My ninja is untouchable by physical attacks at this point. You can't touch him with his innate dodge ability from being a ninja for so long, with his defensive abilities from the gear I have on him, plus that ability with the high bravery. It's just like, you can't touch me. So he didn't touch me either. And then I immediately went back in the next turn and ended him. But it was just very funny how it was like this like ninja duel that lasted like 3 turns. Nobody else in this fight was of note because I kept turning them into chickens with Beowulf.
So there was an additional 2 thieves and 3 archers in this fight besides the ninja. So
yeah, and that's at this point, if you're rolling in with the level of firepower we do,
we're just wrecking.
Honestly, the biggest thing here is if you have if you don't have the movement. It's hard to get through the map because there's a mountain in the middle of it and there's big ass hills next to it. So you kind of get funneled up one side of the mountain if you can't just go up the mountain like half my team could.
Right. And I kind of, there was a lot of little choke points that, because I couldn't just run up the mountain like that. There's only a couple of characters that had that capability, so a lot of them got funneled into those choke points. And but the thing about it was that they were so, despite them being so slow and not able to run up that mountain so quickly, they controlled the choke points easily. Yeah. So it was like, well, what's the point here? I mean, I just wrecked them if they tried to come after me in that capacity. So it was pretty easy. So for me, and like I said, Orlando just blows through enemies like they're nothing. So I don't even remember that ninja, honestly. I didn't do ninja for ninja, I don't think, even though I probably could have.
It's worth it. Because
I mean, I have been known to run with 3 ninjas in the party at one time. So
it's a ability from the samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't remember. I might have that learned. I just don't think I have it equipped. No. So
you gotta boost your bravery to make it mostly effective, to really take advantage of it. But it's good. The next story battle is not really story.
Poesca's. Yeah. It's Poesca's Lake.
And for me, it's Lake Poescas. And it's just it's a forest, a lot of ghosts, I like that there's these haunted forests that you run through because so many soldiers have fucking died in battle over the years of war in this place. That's kind of there's a little bit of world building to that, I think, I think if you were writing a story that would be kind of a cool story moment, you could build on.
A little bit.
But there's nothing of note here. It's just,
no, not really.
Ghosts, kill them.
Yep.
I think that's a summoner ghost that, it's up on a little ledge that could be a motherfucker if you can't get to it in time or if you don't have somebody who can do, range or have a sword skill that can hit him up there.
Yep. And I did struggle with him a little bit. He did get a couple of summons off on me before I could get to him. So
so I had a gunner, so it's just like boom.
Put him down.
That's right, and them. That leads to things start happening in the next battle.
Politics happen now.
Yeah. What? Tell me about these politics.
So after the battle, Raphael, one of Vormov's men, meets Dystarg at Egress Castle.
Yeah.
And
this dialogue, this little story segment, it's fucking this is the stuff that makes me like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Because the guy kind of comes out and just accuses Dystarg of killing Balbanes.
Yeah, you kind of come in late in this conversation where they've clearly there's been the discussion going about how you should join us or do what we say or whatever, and Dystarg's like,
fuck you, why would I do that?
And the other party is clearly getting frustrated by this point about his unwillingness to play, or he's clearly not going to play ball. And the conversation is
it's blackmail.
It's clearly the conversation has turned sour, and so it's those situations where it's just like what's not being said but what's being alluded to is the real meat. And this motherfucker, like you said, blackmail, alludes to, one, you killed your dad with poison, and two, wouldn't it be fucked up if we were poisoning you with the same thing? You wouldn't know it, but we...
And then they talk about how there might be evidence that Balbane's was poisoned through the poison that he used, which is moss fungus.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing like, wouldn't that be fucked up if word got out?
Yeah. As long as if we just opened that casket and looked to see what was going down.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fucked up, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I love the illusion that, like, one, we know you did this. Two, here's the evidence that we could share. And three, we could easily do the exact same thing to you and you would have no fucking idea until it's too late.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Meanwhile.
Meanwhile,
there's one other thing going on in this conversation that is unbeknownst to those two.
Yeah. Zalbag is eavesdropping on this.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the plot thickens there. Am I right?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay.
And you did try to warn him. Ramza did try to warn him earlier in the game that. Your
Dystarg wasn't all he cracks up to be, huh?
Yeah, there's something going on there. So and then he the last notable thing is a Zodiac stone is given to him, to the oldest brother.
To Dystarg, yep.
Yeah, Dystarg. And so it's like, well, that's weird. The conversation just went sour. You threatened him with blackmail, among other things, and then you gave him a Zodiac stone. So he's confused. We, as the viewer, are like, oh, fuck.
What? Yeah, and and now that it's been brought to my attention, I'm a little like, what the fuck are you trying to do here? So maybe they're trying to manipulate him, I guess, in this scenario as well.
We know that when the stone possesses people, the stone takes them over.
Yes.
So it does not matter if he wants to play ball. If he has the stone, he can be possessed.
Gotcha.
And so that's all that matters is he gets the stone, is put in a position where the stone will possess him. So they just need to get the stone in his hands. It doesn't matter if he wants to play ball or not. Then he just needs to be put in a position where he allows himself to succumb to the whims of the stone. So, yeah, it's like one of those, like, he thinks he's completely baffled by the situation, but is absolutely going to take the present. And us as viewers now know, like, oh, that's bad news. He doesn't know what he's in for, but he's... This is bad news for him if he doesn't realize it or not.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our party arrives at the castle of...
Limberry
Castle. And it is clearly a fucking trap. Like, even Ramza's like, I mislike this. Doors hanging open, nobody's there.
And then he calls it out like after they all show up.
Yeah,
it's a trap. Fucking shit, man.
Yeah, no shit, buddy. And he's getting vibes. He's like, the battle with Chulahan and Belias, and like, yes, no shit, bud. And at that point, the assassin chicks show up.
Yes, the people I absolutely hate from Riovani's castle.
Whom I think by this point we know are like demons in disguise or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they are, from our previous experience, we know they are incredibly threatening.
Right, yeah. And I just to kind of point out how crazy this battle is, so I struggled with these next three. Pretty hardcore.
You want to know why it's been so long since there's been a last episode? Here you go.
Fuck you, Rich.
You just want to know why these battles.
Yep. And so, like the last battle I had with Orlando in the party, in this particular instance, at the gates, they literally knew exactly, like the AI knew exactly when Orlando would free himself from stop, because they would cast stop on him. And you can't really deviate that because you have to change jobs to be able to equip the stuff that would prevent stop.
Mm-hmm.
So the next turn, they would cast stop again on him.
I mean, and it's in one positive to that is if they're spending turns casting stop, that leaves you free. Like that's not hurting him.
Well, it depends on
that's
how
a turn.
Yeah, it's a turn, but if they've got multiple turns going on, which they do, okay, in comparison to your party, they get multiple turns versus your party.
Not me.
Yeah, they did. Okay. I mean, if they would get like 2 or 3 cycles versus my own.
Really?
Yep. So
well, you're not like you only have like haste on one person, so.
Yeah, I didn't cast haste and things along those lines.
Okay.
So, but the point being that I could not. I just threw Orlando out of the party straight up. Okay. Did not even bother putting him in, and it weirdly enough, it actually significantly improved. Okay. Because I replaced him with Agrias, and oh my lord, she just. If you thought Orlando wrecked, she wrecked.
I feel like you need to like also like in a logical sense. If I'm the enemy and I see Orlando coming, I'm gonna consider him the biggest threat as well. Like
sure,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I mean, I kept putting her. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been playing these fights, and every time I was putting Orlando in the party. Okay, well, eventually I just looked at the tactics and everything that was taking place, and I decided, you know what, I need to get rid of someone, to be able to do this fight. And so I was like, well, I can't protect Orlando in this fight. I can't equip him with different armor or anything along those lines, even though if given a chance, he would wreck. Okay, but he's never given that chance. So I threw Agrias in, and because she was a more malleable character, because I built her out with multiple jobs and things along those lines, I was able to it actually worked in my favor. And she didn't. This isn't the fight that she wrecked in, but she definitely leveled the playing field. Okay?
I think it's easy to overlook other characters in the face of Orlando because, like, you don't need to like he just comes stock with everything you need to wreck house, right? And it's very impressive up front. However, someone like Agrias, who one would consider easily replaceable with him. You've been using her for most of the game at this point, and so she should be fully fleshed out with different job classes and abilities, so you can kind of build her into everything that you want her to be. Like, obviously, in most of these cases, you're going to use their primary classes, like their big default class, but you're going to have all those extra abilities, and you're going to have a support thing built into them. Like, I have her with white mage abilities as her, like, secondary thing, so in support, she can resurrect somebody or heal them or drop a defensive thing if shit hits the fan. Because I love having extra people on hand who have the ability to do support if need be.
Sure.
And like, yeah, she's incredibly. I don't even use Cid, because like I have so many other characters I've built up and spent so much time investing in already. And also I'm using Cloud, so I'm handicapping myself to some extent already, but everyone else is strong enough to carry the weight.
Yeah,
I say that.
For that.
And I'm going to say in Cloud's defense, by the time I got to these battles, I had spent so much time leveling him up and getting him where I wanted him to be. He actually wasn't a problem. He held himself just fine at all. Like, he wasn't a problem at all. He did plenty of good shit, but you're definitely going to be hearing us giving him a hard time for the rest of this playthrough.
One of the characters, I had counter magic on. So my mage, my black mage, she was just built to take anything. Okay. Yeah. As far as status effects were concerned, and she had magic counter on. Okay. And that was awesome because these two, like the 2 demons in this fight, 3 demons, they all casted like Bio 2 on her. Okay. Oh. And it wouldn't affect her. But because of magic counter, it wrecked them. It was awesome.
So she was just boom. What did she counter with?
She hit one of them with petrify. the other one with Toad. And she didn't do a counter on the third one, but
It's still cool.
I was like, shit.
This fight went hilariously too easy for me because I am using Balthier, and he is like almost Cid level broken.
Okay.
Like, he has all of the thief abilities, so he can steal shit. He's got the speed and a movement of a ninja, and he's got the gun abilities of Mustadio.
Right.
Plus one new ability that only he has called Barrage, which I've mentioned before in the past, which is 4 shots at half damage. So it's the equivalent of 2 full damage shots, but that doesn't consider in the fact that because you're getting multiple attacks in, each one has a potential chance of critting.
Gotcha.
So you can get critical hits in there. You get 4 attempts at a critical hit too. So, like, that's what it essentially comes down to. So he almost always at least gets 1 critical hit in. He's got a great gun, and I just ran up to the. So it's like there's a gate. I ran up to the top of the gate. There was one of the assassin girls there, and I just did barrage on her. And one of the hits was a critical hit. Like, the last hit was a critical hit, ended the fight. All you have to do is get one of them almost dead and the fight's ending. So, and he was like the second action in the entire fight. And I just cracked up laughing. You know, like, I can't fucking believe this nonsense.
Yeah. So, but my fight lasted a little bit longer than this, at least with the successful one. Because I had that issue, because the freaking mage just went off, and I think I hit one of the assassins with I can't remember what it was, but I hit it with one. It was a 1-2 punch between that character and Agrias, and Agrias hit it for like 200-300 damage. So between those two hitting the same assassin, that was the end of the fight, and I was like, oh, cool, you know. Because I was wondering, because I was kind of thinking about it, it's like, well, there's not much left if I leave the guy Toad and leave the other guy petrified.
So game over.
Yeah, for the most part, after I took out that one assassin. So
yeah, after that they teleport away. The battle's ending, and it skips to a scene in the castle where the Marquis and Fulmarv are having a little chat about how, like, we lost 2 dudes, but we're looking for a host for another motherfucker, and they're trying to get their big bad, and so, like, things are coming along. Then the assassin kind of comes in. The assassins come in, like, fucking Rams is here, and the Marquis is like, sweet, I'm about to fucking get some vengeance. And Fulmarv is like, slow your roll, this dude can throw down if need be. And he's like, whatever. We'll see
ain't
about
nothing
that.
but a thing.
Yeah, whatever, motherfucker. I'll show them what's up. And he is capable of it. Jacob, how would you like to talk about the next battle?
The next battle, inside Library Castle.
Inside Linbury Castle. Normally I would love to make this flow super smooth, but as what happens when we have taken a surprise extended break in between, in the middle of a recording, I like to say, fuck it. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded the last piece of this episode.
Well, that's what happens when you get sick.
That is, and Rich gets a new job, and his kids get COVID, and then he gets COVID. It's been a wild couple weeks, motherfuckers.
A little bit.
But we have been doing things, and most prominently is not recording, but we're going to fix that right now.
Yep.
Jacob.
Richard.
This right here is honestly, I think, probably responsible for the initial delay in this episode. Not the last 2 weeks. I would say the delay up until mid-January. I think, because you got up to this fight,
and I couldn't beat it.
Yeah, for like an extended period of time. Like, I know we slowed down throughout December, but I would say by late December you had gotten to this fight, probably before Christmas even, and your ass got stuck dead in its fucking tracks.
Yeah, I got put down. These assassins really pissed me off.
I warned you earlier too about how much of a mother, because I got to this one and I rolled in here like after, like I've mentioned many times, I've
Mm-hmm.
ground the shit out of ton of like a lot of characters. I built everyone up the way I want them to. I got Cloud up with everybody else, like made him a champion, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
And went into this thinking I'm just gonna like clean house. And when I get a big ego, I don't go for the fucking jugular. I'm like a cat that plays with its food. I decide that I'm going to destroy every enemy on the map before finishing the enemy that's kind of the one that the battle is built around, the one that determines the victory, you know. And in this case, it's Marquis Elmdor. I always say Marquis, and I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation because that's how I heard it pronounced in the BBC adaptation of the novel Neverwhere. It's a Neil Gaiman novel. I love it. But now I'm suddenly curious on the correct pronunciation because I'm not entirely C. So.
I think it's Marquis, but I could be wrong. Because I remember they talk about it in Final Fantasy 12.
I heard it. You know what? Okay, so it's both.
Okay.
So I guess it was originally Marquis, but I guess it was angelicized as Marquis.
Okay, so we've been saying it kind of the right way anyways. So
yeah, you're saying it one way and I'm saying it another. So like I think
6 way, half dozen other. Moving on.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of the difference between French and English, I guess. Like
sure.
they do it. Yeah. So anyway, back to it. Elmdor.
Yes.
Captain Sephiroth wannabe, I guess some people refer to him as, because he wears black, he's got white hair, and he uses a katana. Supposedly, he was designed intentionally to reference Captain Sephi, especially like right down to the hair. It's the sort of thing that I see and look at, and I'm like, I can simultaneously get that, but I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard like it was like said by one of the people who worked on tactics, but it's also kind of like hearsay. Like I haven't seen the source of that, so I can neither confirm nor deny.
Sure.
But
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, first time we met him, he was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Him and his assassins caused all sorts of problems.
Yes.
However, it also led rise to one of my favorite moments in the entire game. When shall we say the rotund guy whose name totally escapes me from the end of chapter 3, perhaps is it?
The rotund guy.
Right, he was a larger fella. He shot the brother of the brother and sister who are on your team who wear white and they kind of suck.
Oh.
I totally forgot their names because I never use them and don't really want them.
Malak and what the hell's her face? I can't think of her name.
Yeah, neither one of us like them very much. But the brother and sister who are on your team, the brother's shot. He'd like their They used to work for him, and anyway, one of the assassins comes up behind him and throws him over her shoulder. Like it's hilarious. I found a GIF of that online, and it makes me laugh every time I see it. I reposted it on Twitter months ago because I thought it was so funny. Anyway, back on topic.
Yes.
These guys, fight with them. I warned you that it was bad because, like, I went in back to when we lost fucking track of what we were talking about to begin with.
Right.
I went in, thought I could play with my food, could not.
Yes.
Because they bring it harder than I was anticipating. So I don't know if you just didn't take me seriously or not. But you learned your lesson.
I kind of did, and I kind of didn't. I went in with my all-star with the. So I've been. I always try to constantly work on my characters in a sense, and that's what I was doing, and I strolled into this battle with the same kind of mindset that I would use the XP to or job points to continually level them up and make them better. Well, and so I had a kind of a weird pseudo kind of team rolling into it, and it didn't make the cut. Okay, so I was like, well, shit. So I decided, okay,
I'm taking the gloves off. I'm rolling in there with Orlando, okay? Which is probably the biggest mistake that I made. Because Orlando just, I mean, he slaps his big dick down, but they end up chopping it off. So, and it's quite literally that in that capacity.
I think you should specify why that was a problem for you real quick before I get into kind of breaking down how this battle works or plays out and why it's potentially a problem.
Well, so there's a couple of big things that, as far as the mechanics behind this whole battle, one is that the Marcus will actually do vampire suck, which will turn your characters into vampires themselves. Which
if we haven't really talked about this status effect in the past, it's a huge pain in the ass because it's like a berserk status to some thing, except for it's infectious.
Yes. And you lose control. It's like berserk. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, the character loses control and attacks at anyone, allies and enemies, and anyone that they attack is then infected with vampire.
Yep.
And they go off doing the exact same thing. Like, it's honestly nasty as fuck.
Yeah.
it's I'm thankful it's not more present, although if I was designing this game, I would have a storyline like side quest thing that was dealing with vampires, and that would be a reoccurring
problem. The other thing, and it's my most hated status effect / ability in the game that is used against you, and that's Stop Bracelet. The assassins use it, and it just one hit kills a character no matter what happens. And now,
it's what?
It's Stop Bracelet.
It's an ability?
Well, it's a status effect basically that gets.
And it kills your character?
Yeah, one hit kill.
What?
Yes, it's only casted by the assassins. So, and I think it's only one of them, but that was the other side of the coin. That just I would have like the second time around when I rolled in there with Orlando and some of my big hitters.
Oh, they call it Stop Bracelet in your version of the game.
Yes.
In mine, it's called Suffocate.
Yeah. So, they ended up killing 2 characters, and the other 3 were vampires. So it's like, well, fuck me. So I rethought everything out. And are we gonna go through how we beat it or not? At this point.
Well, we should probably kind of go through this fight a little bit. And I never had to deal with that ability, so I'm super thankful for it.
Yeah.
How the fight starts is you're on one end of the room, they're on the other. It's just a short rectangular room. The Marquis is in the middle of the group. It's like him and then an assassin on the left, an assassin on the right, and they're like 2 squares back.
Yep.
You're actually, if you have a character with some range, either sword skill or actually they're in front of him. Sorry, they're like 1 square in front of him.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yep.
If you have some range, like either with a sword skill or a gun, you can fucking get shots off right away.
Right.
And I actually was able to do that right away because my tactic was at first just rush him. Take out the assassins first.
Yeah.
And then take him out. In my head, I always felt like the assassins are a potential threat, so it neutralize them as quickly as possible and then focus on him. So I started the fight with Balthier running up onto like the sides of the map, or like an elevated like little. The room is surrounded on the side, not even the sides. The left side and the right side, all the way down, has like a 2-panel like risen section that goes all the way down. And I just ran him up there, and he just did barrage, the multi-attack gun skill on one of the assassins, and took her out right away. It's like the first turn.
Nice.
One assassin down, and it replaced him with a demon.
Yep.
So I was like, well, okay. The demons I felt were less dangerous.
Yeah, they are.
Wasn't particularly.
It's better.
I wasn't particularly concerned about it, and I was like, okay, no big deal. Then I went off and kind of like took my dudes up to start taking attacks at the remaining assassin and the Marquis. And what I very quickly learned is that he has the samurai, I guess they're called like Iodo or whatever. I know I'm saying that wrong.
Right.
Much as I was told in the Final Fantasy 14 episode. I'm bad. I am bad at pronouncing words I'm unfamiliar with. So,
Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. It's like I look at a word
Mhm.
and I don't fully read all the letters in it,
Right.
and then my brain decides that's how you say that,
Uh-huh.
and I never fully read the word again. Because if I just looked at it again, I'd be like, oh, there's a letter I'm not pronouncing.
Yeah.
So if I'm mispronouncing it, too fucking bad. It's Iodo in my head. Anyway, and those are like area of effect spells where he uses a katana to do some random thing. So he just teleports into the middle of my group, my team, blows off something. Usually there's a status effect related to it and fucks up my entire party.
Right. Yep.
So he's got pretty good defense, so he can deflect some attacks up front. So he would deflect things, do that thing, and within a couple turns, wiped out my entire party in the first turn.
Yeah.
Not the first turn, in my first attempt. I had to take this fight twice. Jake more so.
Like 5, 6, 7 different times. So.
Ultimately, my successful tactic was splitting up. Like, he can't take out everybody if everyone goes in to, like, breaks up. You know, I took a third of my team went up to the left side, a third went up on the right side, and a third kind of stayed in the middle and back.
Sure.
So it would be difficult for him to hit the entire party, if not more than 2 guys at once. He was able to get like 3 at once with the attack, but I was split up enough that it was okay. The thing that really became very quickly apparent in the second round, because I started the second round with trying to do the same thing. Take out one of the assassins, take out the other assassin, then focus on him. And it very quickly became stop dealing with the assassins.
Yeah.
Like, I took out one right away, and then I was able to take out the other one before the end of the battle, but it very quickly became like, don't fuck around. Deal with him as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So once and even then, he still fucked up my shit very quickly.
Yeah.
But I was able to put him down once I, like, you know, got my priorities straight, so to speak.
Now, there's actually he's actually got some really good gear that you can steal.
In the US version of the PlayStation version, you can steal his gear.
Okay.
However, in every other release of the game, whether it be the original Japanese release or every single re-release afterwards,
right,
you cannot steal from.
Oh, well, that sucks.
In this battle.
Well, I guess, I guess I had a missed opportunity there then. So, but basically, what ended up happening is I ended up equipping. I only had like 2 male party members. Okay, so because charm was another issue that I had to deal with.
That was the one that I thought was your biggest problem. I thought he was charming all your dudes, and
the assassins were charming the dudes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And so, but if they are the same sex, they can't be charmed. So,
I find that also slightly disappointing, if I'm being honest. I think it would be really kind of awesome if, like, it was kind of with the non, like, named characters, like the generics, if that was random. Like, if there's a certain percentage, you know, like, you know, 25% of your characters could be charmed by the same sex. Like, I think that would be like this sort of like non-verbal storytelling a little bit, and it's like, oh, I learned something a little bit more about this character just by that alone that you didn't know, and it's completely irrelevant to everything else. Or, you know, maybe like certain characters like Balthier.
Right.
Like, what if he could be charmed by both? And you're like, oh, I get it. I see what they're trying to say there.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I think that would be an interesting thing to do. But they didn't.
Yep. And then the other thing that I did is I equipped everybody with 108 beats. That prevents the vampire status effect.
108 beats.
Yep. It's an easy little accessory that you can get. And then one of them, specifically by Mage, she actually there's the barrette, which is kind of like a glorified ribbon. Okay.
Oh, and in mine, it's called the Japamala.
So, I equipped that with the mage so that if I kind of got into a situation where I needed to start, you know, healing people or whatever, she pretty much couldn't be killed. Because the majority of the, I mean, with the exclusion of actual physical attacks, the majority of the fight was all status effects for me. Okay, and if you negate the status effects with that barrette, then and then and she's a female. There's not. I mean, it's all just physical and magic attacks that you can only do, like elementals or things along those lines. So
more standard. You're just the status effects that make this fight difficult or removed.
Right, or just for that one character.
Negated.
Okay. Yeah. Now I mean, I tried to use. I think it was called the Black Cape. It was supposed to prevent stop bracelet or suffocate. And maybe I'm misconstruing the whole situation, because I mean, stop is listed as one of the things that it will not affect the character with.
Well, I think that's why that spell that effect that your thing is messed up, because it's not a stop spell.
Right. So
it's a different thing. It just has the word stop in the name.
Yeah. So and that was a kind of a misnomer for me, and when I actually went into this fight, you know, geared a little bit more towards it. One, I removed Orlando in his entirety, and I just like gave Agrias a lot of his powers, so to speak. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say powers, equipment, I should say.
Yeah.
And so I'm trucking along in this fight, and I'm you know, I've got death sentence on like 2 of the characters, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to call him Mulligan on this one too. And so I go in there, and I just happened to cast, I think it was the lightning, I think it was Holy Explosion on the Marcus, okay, with Agrias, with the sword ability. And when she did that, out of nowhere comes triple nines. And I'm like, where the fuck have you been? and then that was, the fight was over, and I'm still dumbfounded and like, what the fuck just happened? You know?
I love how you had like such a hard time with this fight, and then out of nowhere, like, you know,
Agrias just cast one Holy Explosion, one hit kills the boss. And we're on to the next fight, and I'm sitting there, you know, jaw in hand, like, what the hell? it blew me away. I was just so dumbfounded. As I thought, and I went and I looked online to see if I was missing something, and I'm really not. I don't fully understand why that.
I mean, maybe sword skills can crit. Like, you just got a lucky crit hit. Maybe he's weak to holy.
Well, there's maybe those 2 facets, plus the fact that she had Excalibur.
Yeah, maybe.
So, it was just a holy shit moment, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah. So like I said, just a little dumbfounded. Now, I didn't get the Genji armor because the whole thing happened so suddenly. I was so cut off guard on the whole situation that it was like, okay, next fight, you know. So, and I didn't, like I said, I think I can't remember if I polished off. I think I polished off. No, I did not polish off any of the assassins.
I'm trying to look up on this guy's like stats if there's something that suggests
where Agrias is supposed to just pound people.
Yeah,
I mean, I never did find out the reasoning why that occurred, but yeah, she just laid it. She's like, nah, I got this. Swing, done. Next fight. So, but yeah, she just like 999 game, like fight over, and I'm like, what the fuck?
It's kind of great. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had an explanation as to.
Yeah, I wish I did too. Immediately after that fight, I left the screen as it was, and I tried to look up why Agrias was capable of doing that to the Marquis, and I got nothing.
Yeah,
so
I have no explanation as to why, but it fucking rules.
Yeah, it's like, okay, win stick, thank you. So
Regardless, this battle, much
Mhm.
like a lot of these battles against notable people with a stone,
Mhm.
you don't really kill him in this fight. He teleports away, lets you know he's
Mhm.
awaiting you in the Undercroft once you wound him
Ooh.
enough. And this is where, if you're playing the War of the Lions version, you get a little extra encounter with one of our favorite little shitbags.
Yay for shitbags.
That's right. Argith returns from from hell, where he's been, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, fucking getting fucked
I
by
don't even
demons.
remember this character,
Yeah.
so
He's the
yeah.
little fucking blonde shithead.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. It's been so long since I've seen him that I probably wouldn't even recognize him.
I feel like certain pieces of shit you would recognize immediately and be like, this fuckbag again.
What are we dealing with him for?
Yeah, he's returned from hell to harass Ramza about being a bad upper class person and hanging out with the lower class and lowering yourself. And at one point he's like, your mind's as common as your friends. Like that sort of things.
And you just tell him to eat a bag of dicks.
He also
and
claims
you move on to the next fight.
he also tries to make his death sound like it was like, I didn't die, I was given a greater opportunity. I didn't fall then, and I'm not gonna fall. I'm like, fuck you, you died, you went to hell.
Yep.
I'm gonna send you back with your fucking tail between your legs because you're a bitch, and
Yep.
he is.
You're annoying me.
He summons a couple more demons, of which, like, I never remember their names. They're like the big muscle
not
brown.
that important of a battle.
They got, they're gray bodied, got like fucking bluish purple gauntlets. I don't know. I guess they're probably tough, but not to me. So we beat up.
Right.
Like I always say, I like to play with my food. I just did a sweep through the entire level, killing all of them, went to him and annihilated him. It was like I surrounded him with all my characters, and it was just a bub, 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 bub. Like, just, he had no hope. It was very fun.
Yeah.
So
for me, I don't necessarily like to play with my food. I just don't pay attention to what the requirements are to win the battle. I just go in and just maul. Straight up.
There are certain characters I will forever. There's this one brief sad moment where when you finally defeat him, he drops to a knee or gets up on his knee after he falls and then says, "Mother, help me," and then he gets teleported away. I'm like, well,
maybe Mother helped him finally.
I mean, maybe this is the sort of thing, like, I feel bad, whenever somebody calls to their parents, like a child.
Oh, here we go.
In their
Rich.
last moments, it does pull at my heartstrings a smidge. But then I remembered, you're no longer a fucking child, and as an adult, you made horrible decisions that put you in this position. So,
right.
Fuck you, Like,
yeah, be a man.
Yeah.
Take some fucking responsibility.
Your mom can't help you now. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
And this leads to the Undercroft. With our homeboy waiting for us.
Yeah, waiting for us.
And just as a reminder, this is we're here because we want Alma back, and she's not here. However,
oh shucks.
In the Undercroft, there are many ghosts, which homeboy summons, and it's He's not content to just face you in the way you did before. He uses the stone to transmogrify or mutate or morph into his demonic form.
Zalira.
Yeah, the
Angel of Death.
Is that what the full name is? The Angel of Death.
That's what I read it as.
Okay,
so
cool. Yeah. This battle, very quickly before it begins. Melia Duel. For me, it's Zalera, the Death Seraph, which would be the Angel of Death, basically.
Yeah. Same difference.
Yeah, same. That's what a Seraph is. Melia Duel shows up, and she's like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck?
Why the fuck?" Yeah. She's like Jay, just waking up after at the end of Dogma.
Yeah. Who the fuck is this? Why the fuck are they here?
Where the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
And like,
Why the fuck is that a demon?
you're telling me that the Marquis was a demon? What? So, this is one of those delightful battles where you have an AI companion. And,
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's necessary, because I had this fight well in hand.
Yes.
However, she's kind of like a Sid Jr. kind of. She's she's got a bunch of sword skills like him. She's she's on the Agrias Sid school of combat where if they don't attack normally, they use sword magic shit.
Abilities.
Yeah, so she rolls in and helps me kind of wipe out a bunch of the like ghost horned demon things at the edge of the battle because they appear on both ends. Like your main crew is in the middle. Behind you, 3 of these guys appears, and ahead of you is Zalera and 2 more ghost things. So she appears at the far end, further behind you. So there's a group of 3 monsters in between you. But I sent like 1 guy back to help her wipe out all of those very quickly, and sent the rest up to mop the floor with the rest, and it wasn't that big of a deal whatsoever. I always kind of like that they don't tell you how much HP these demonic bosses have.
It didn't matter for me.
No, it doesn't. It's just awesome. I like it.
Yeah, because I just kind of once I discovered like that with that previous battle, I was like, well, shit. Let's try him again, try her again.
And did you get the same results?
Absolutely.
Were the numbers as big or were they just huge?
Yeah, exactly. Triple 9s.
All right. Was it a 1-hit win again?
Yes. As soon as I got Agrias up there and in place, like ready to attack, yeah, game over.
That's beautiful. Good for her.
Yep.
She doesn't get enough credit, so
I tip my hat there.
Yeah.
So,
and you don't even have the fucking like upgraded the Rouge like I get in the War of the Lions that like boosts her even more. So like once again, bravo.
Yeah. It's just, I was like, well,
I salute that woman. Like she's the best. Good for her. If that didn't earn her a shot again. If that didn't earn her a permanent spot in your party, I don't know what did.
Well, she was like I was developing her and trying to get her to do some other things and has some kind of cool abilities.
I kind of feel like at this point in the game, it's very easy to overlook her because you have your so many other characters in your party. You got Orlando, Meliadul shows up who is fucking like after this battle you'll learn you get her as a full playable character in your party that you control, and she has like she has a Save the Queen, right?
Yes,
it's
I
like
believe so.
One of the strongest swords in the game. Like she's got all of Sid's abilities. She's got a great sword. Like she's stacked. She's badass as fuck. So it's easy to to maybe look at our lovely lady knight and be like, there's so many other characters.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to develop Meliadul.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm taking her sword and giving it to Agrias.
Yes, that's exactly what my thought was. It's like I'll give Excalibur back to Orlando, and then Agrias will get Save the Queen.
It's actually in between. In between her and Beowulf. One of them is getting Excalibur, and the other one's getting the Save the Queen. It's just who's getting which,
Fair enough. So, but
it's kind of down between those two as to who's going to fill out the back end of my party. Like her, Balthier, and Beowulf are like my last 2 characters on my party, so I got to pick between those 3 who's gonna kind of fill that role. And Beowulf kind of seems fully shoot in because I've given him so much white magic stuff that like he's like the full like perfect support character in every way, so it's kind of hard to turn him down at this point. So it's like who do I want to be my final ass character, her or broken Balthier? So
right. Yeah.
But anyway, back to this battle really quick. Is there anything else you want to say about it? Like,
I don't really have anything else to say about it. I mean, I honestly did consider the fact that some of the knights that are here you can actually do Phoenix Downs on him and kill him.
Oh yeah,
So
sweet.
yeah,
We probably haven't mentioned it earlier too, and it's something that I meant to. But in the previous battle with the assassin girls, apparently I think that's the last time last opportunity to learn Ultima with
right.
Ramza, which is like his last Squire ability, and you can only learn it by being hit with it. It's a weird thing. I don't fully understand why they chose to go that route. I've never gotten it, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
is it really worth the effort? I kind of think not.
I don't know. I don't need it. For completionist purposes, yeah, you probably do. But
well, yeah, but
anyway,
that's the case,
back to Zalaria. You blow him up, he dies, drops an aura sight.
Yep.
And then you have a little
or a holy stone.
Oh, yes, call it what you want. You have a little chat.
It's a holy stone in my game.
Okay, well, in the rest of them, this leads to Melia Duel having a chat with you about it, where it's like she thought they were just strangely colored stones, didn't think much of them, you know?
Right. Yep. And then you realize she realizes holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah, she had like the secret was kept from her, and like this is where it also becomes clear to her that her father also is possessed by one, and she's a little bit like, what the fuck? So
but yeah, and I think you have a little
there's also one other tiny thing here too, where she's like, according to the legends, they can't be the Lucave or like they can't be killed by conventional means by men, and every tale points the same. And Ramza's like, well, obviously that's not true.
I've killed like 5 of them.
You just watched us kill one, and I've killed half a dozen. Like, they're, stories tend to get embellished. So
yes.
So she hands you the stone, and you're kind of off to your next.
She mentions that Dice Dark has one too now.
Yeah, so that was like her father did one last weird thing. She doesn't understand why, but she gifted the Capricorn stone to Ramza's brother Dice Dark, and she has like no fucking idea why. But us as players are like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
which we already know. We saw that earlier. It's just a double down, like, oh fuck, right, I forgot about that. So it's a nasty time. Nasty time to be somebody holding these stones. That leaves us in a position to continue the game further.
Yes.
I think at this point we should play through to let's go ahead and do.
Well, I can't remember where the point of no return is.
Yeah, I think the Chapel of Saint Mirand Temple is the point of no return.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. I'm trying to double check that because I want to play right up unto the
point that you have to do is start doing consecutive battles.
Yeah. So let's Google search it really quick.
Well, the underground book storage 4th floor is where it begins. The last sequence of the game.
Last point of no return. Entering the Oberon Monastery at the end of Chapter 4.
Okay, so where's the Oberon Monastery? Well, I know what it is and where it is, but I don't see that in the walkthrough here.
That's the thing I just said, but yeah, that's not... Boy, this is what a smart person...
Okay.
Like...
Okay, after the battle, okay, and Alma has been taken by the enemy to Oberon Monastery. So yeah, you're right. You got it.
Point of no return, Final Fantasy Tactics.
No, you said it right. It's the Chapel of Saint Moron Temple.
Okay.
That's the last battle.
Okay.
Once you get past that, you go to Oberon Monastery, and that's where endgame starts.
Okay, because we want to play up to that point.
Yep.
And yeah. Because
and that's not too far off either, so it's totally reasonable.
So like well, it's like the.
You said it, dude. You're good.
Well, no, because mine doesn't. I'm looking at the War of the Lions version, and it doesn't have that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
gotcha.
different. There is no Oberon Monastery.
Oh. Well, it's just after St. Moron Temple. It's the next place that you would go after St. Moron Temple.
Because there's the Necrohall.
I don't think that's it. I think that's sidequest stuff.
No, that's the Necrohall is like the fourth to the end battle. There's like the Malond Cathedral. Agrias Castle, maybe?
No, that's before the temple.
Yeah, that's before. And then Malond Cathedral. I'm just going to cut this section just so you know. I like this section.
Moron Death City.
Yeah.
Moron Death City is like right in the middle of that last sequence. So you've got probably two or three battles before that.
Sanctuary. Okay, so yeah, I guess you enter over the monastery. Okay, yes. So the monastery vaults is in this. So okay, so we're gonna play through
Chapel of St. Moron Temple.
Yes. Monastery vault. Like the battles are in the monastery vaults. So
after that.
So play through the Malond Cathedral Sanctuary. And after that point, I'll also talk about the last side quest stuff.
Yeah, I might poke at some of that stuff too.
So play through that, do the last side quest stuff, and then afterwards we'll do a final episode covering the last couple battles and final thoughts on the game and stuff. So Jacob.
Richard.
You having a good time?
Absolutely.
Other than getting fucked up there for a while, I was hoping you were having a good time. Are you ready to wrap this motherfucker up in rapid pace?
No guarantees in rapid pace, but I am ready to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's crush it. I had actually anticipated if we kept going at the pace we were before, this would be our last episode for Tactics. But the last couple months have been a shit show. So that happens. We're going to continue. Hopefully, 2 more episodes of this. I'm ready to go. I'm actually further along already because I've played more. So
Rich, you're an asshole.
Well, I stopped though, like fucking 4 weeks ago. So I'm ready to go. I am looking forward to how this story continues because it gets good. And it's fun to fucking play. I've been waiting for us to get to this point so I could play more. I'm thirsty for it. I'm so thirsty for this content. I'm playing the MMO Final Fantasy XIV so I can get to the raid that is a series of battles that's a retelling of this game, kind of.
Huh. Weird.
That's not the reason I'm actually playing it. I'm playing it for fun. But that is present there. And one day I'll get there. Jake.
Rich.
If people want to contact us, how would they go about doing that?
They could email us at damnchocobo@gmail.com.
Or they can reach out to us at damnchocobo on the big social media platforms, Reach out, say hi. I love it when people reach out. Recently, I have announced on the social media platforms that I'm replaying Final Fantasy XIV. And I already, even in between our recordings of this episode, I released a solo episode as kind of an experiment for the show of me kind of recapping the experiences that I had. In many ways, it's recapping what me and Jake did several years ago when we played Final Fantasy XIV. I played up until almost right before we ended before. Last night when I was playing for fun, I think I actually wrapped up what we originally played. Like that quest line with the fucking little like nymphs or whatever, sylphs. They're sylphs, and one of them is like, I want to be left alone. I want to escape. And I remember you hated that sylph because it goes off on its own and then it gets itself in deep shit and you have to go save it and you.
Right.
hated that situation. Either way, I'm playing that game.
Mhm.
It's good. A lot of people, when I mentioned it online, reached out to say, hey, I'll join you and play with you, or I'll jump on an episode if you need another person, or I'll give you gear if
Mhm.
you need it. Like, lots of really positive shit. So, you
Nice.
know, I love that. I love those people. We've had some new listeners reach out recently, too, and I'd love to hear
Hell
that.
yeah.
You know, let me just pull up our Facebook really quick and just randomly shout one out.
Yay.
Yeah. So if people are enjoying the regular episodes, reach out and let us know because we love that. If you're a new listener and you're having a good time, let us know. We love that shit too.
Mhm.
If you enjoyed the Final Fantasy 14 episode and you want more of that, let me know. If you enjoy it but you want Jake in there, let us know so we can fucking browbeat him into fucking playing again because he's not going to do it without encouragement.
No, I will
He
not.
will not. Like, you got to really get on Jake's case if we want Jake to get back into that game.
I mean, let's put things in perspective. Rich has been hammering me for almost a year now regarding Fortnite, I think. Still haven't touched it.
Still haven't. Jake is a stubborn man.
Yes.
He is a difficult fella. Oh
Mhm.
my God, Facebook, calm the fuck on. Ashley Brooks,
Rock on, Ashley.
thank you for reaching out and saying hi. She reached out to kind of like compliment us, like on just another person who's been loving the show, and she had something to say about our Final Fantasy X. She hadn't finished our Final Fantasy X episodes, so I think we sounded a little down on the game at that point, but you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just the fight with Unalesca so late in the game really is a daddy downer. So.
I think we came around. At least I did. I've always loved that game. Hopefully we talk more positively.
Oh,
about it.
I'm not denying
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a bad game.
Yeah.
It's just that fight in particular at such a late stage in the game it really kind of it beat my morale down pretty good. I will say
You
that.
have a hard time when you hit a point in a game, late in a game, and you just get the shit beat out of you. That really leaves a sour. Like, I expect to get the shit, like the taste smacked out of my mouth late game. But it really pisses you off a lot, like a lot. Like every time that's happened in one of these games, you're just an unhappy.
Fuck you.
You are an unhappy man. So you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're more clear in those episodes as Ashley, when Ashley, if you get to this episode, hopefully you were more happy with how we ended up on those. I think we were a little more positive. We bitch about everything, so.
This is true.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Oh, you know what? I actually just got an email the other night. Let's give a second shout out because I love to give people recognition.
Yep.
And this is relevant because I kind of hinted that earlier in this episode. When I did the Final Fantasy 14 episode solo, I mispronounced some stuff because I just do that sometimes and I just don't give a
Way to go,
fuck.
Rich.
So
way to mispronounce that stuff.
It's another Jake. And he reached out to let me know that I mispronounced the town of Limsa Lominsa.
Okay.
I think I called it, instead of Limsa Lominsa, I think I called it Limsa Limosa.
Mimosa? That's what I heard.
Instead
Mimosa.
Instead of Lominsa, I said Limosa.
I like mimosas.
Yeah, mimosas are great. Yeah, so I think that's an obvious mistake to make. I mean, not obvious, understandably, right? Right?
Sure, Rich. I'll agree with you. Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm being like legitimate
All
here.
right, I was smelling some sarcasm.
No, there was no sarcasm in that. I mean, it's not like they say the names of these towns outright a lot.
I mean, I'm sure they did. They had to have. There's so much talking, text and vocals, so much.
But if I ever encounter in this town, from this point on, it's going to be called Mimosa.
Yeah, exactly. Just intentionally. Maybe I should just double down on my mispronunciation. Either way, reach out. Like I said before, if anybody has anything to say, reach out. Maybe you'll be called out at a later date because we do love to recognize people who recognize us. So, any other final thoughts on the future, on the last couple weeks, on tactics, on 14, on the game we're gonna play afterwards? Should we announce that yet?
Nah, we're still 2 episodes out, remember?
Okay, all right. I didn't know if we wanted to whet people's appetites or not. Probably don't want to tease them too soon, because the second we say that, it's going to be like...
Be like 8 months down the road.
Or we'll change our mind right beforehand, and I would hate to disappoint anybody. So, yeah, on that note, I don't know. Fuck off, guys.
Fuck off.
Only God knows I'm innocent. Take me home. Saving me from rules over the sea. I challenge thee, do not cross this bridge. Follow me now. Threatened shadows with my eye. They're getting closer now. Open your eyes, wake up and be a friend. I hate your fate.
Jake,
Rich.
you know how we're always kind of working on ourselves?
We are?
Lately, the thing... I'm always working on myself, trying to improve.
Okay.
And lately, like especially on the show, the latest thing I'm trying to do is improve. I'm always trying to improve audio quality. And lately, I've been like too loud on the mic.
All right.
Too close. So I'm trying
Like this? This is too close?
You still sound okay on my end.
Darn it.
You sound good. So I'm trying to just get better at that. And because we're not using Audacity for the main recording anymore, so I don't have a waveform to watch.
Nope.
So I don't know if I'm causing clipping. So, there's been a lot of experimentation on this point, on this second part of this episode, in hopes that I fixed it. So we're gonna find out.
Okay.
But it's a thing I've been wondering, like this whole episode. Like, did I fuck it up or did I fix it? We'll find out.
Well, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Jacob,
Richard,
do you have any dedications?
I'm gonna let you choose between either the Marcus or the Assassins.
I am gonna dedicate it to. Can I dedicate it to your brother for being a dumb fuck?
Why is he a dumb fuck now?
Not your brother, but the Ramza's brother.
Oh.
Dice Stark.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was giving you a choice between the Marquis or the Assassins.
Well, then it's gotta be the Marquis.
Okay,
right?
you're choosing for me. Okay, you're not choosing for yourself.
You're dedicated. It's gotta go to him because he made you mad.
Well, the Assassins made me fucking mad too.
Well, I think all right. So that whole battle, we'll dedicate it to this episode too because it delayed the episode like a fucking month. So.
God, man, that thing pissed me off so much.
It really did. So I will also dedicate it to COVID.
Oh, wow.
Like my whole fucking family got it in between like
this last month.
In between the first portion of this episode and now, like my whole family's got it at different points. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like what the fuck, man.
Yeah.
2 years of avoiding it, and now fucking got it. Like, go figure, right?
Oh, yeah. You know.
Them's the deal, man. I'm alive. Everyone's alive. We're all good.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, it is.
So, all right, Rich.
Here's to our health. I got nothing left. You guys take care.
Yep, take it easy.
Yeah, I got nothing else. Okay. I'm gonna hang up, save this file, and
I didn't hit record. Was I supposed to?
I know. Well, hopefully the Skype recorder.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like it's recorded fine. We just don't have a backup if it didn't. So
I didn't think about that. Sorry, Rich.
Neither did I. No, neither one of us did. We both could have done it. So, yeah, I'll finish this shit up, and maybe we can try to get in a quick battle before the kids wake up on the main game. So.
Okay.
I will call you on my phone here in a few minutes.
Okay.
See ya.